Alrighty, here we are. There it is, Necron Combat Patrol Box, Doomstalker Assembly. Yes, we're going to assemble the Doomstalker. We're going to see how that's going to work out. Welcome to The Varied Life. I'm Steve, the hobby tech guy, American expat, retired here in Korea. So we're having some fun stuff going on. With that being said, the Doomstalker is part of the Necrons. If you play Warhammer 40,000, it is a tabletop, kind of like a role-playing type of game. Hey, we got George here. George, welcome back. Good to see you again. Warhammer 40K is a tabletop game. I guess it started back in the 80s. I remember playing Dungeons and Dragons when it first came out in like the early 80s. And then after that, Warhammer came, and by that time I was like in the military when I was 17. So I forego, or forewent, if that's a word. Is forewent a word? I'm not sure. Let me know. I did not do the fun things, the fun gaming things for the next 20 some odd years while I was in the military, retired, ended up working some more, working security, working corrections, law enforcement, firearms instructor, all kinds of good stuff. I didn't do any of that fun stuff until I got into my 50s. So yeah, it's been a minute, but I never played Warhammer, but I kind of wish I did. But I've gotten into at least getting the figures and learning how to paint, so I've been enjoying the painting process. With that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this Doomstalker. Now, Doomstalker is part of a combat patrol box that I got, so it's kind of like the very first jumping in. It's an expensive hobby. Holy crow, man. It was like $170 for that box of like 19 figures, and the majority of them are like small. So we'll take a look at that. But the Doomstalker is quite the interesting character, and we're going to take a look at this. Let's see if we can pull this up. Excuse me. I'm not 100%. So here is the Doomstalker, and this is from the Warhammer. And as you can see, it's like 53 bucks, and that's some expensive plastic there. That is some expensive plastic. So I got a number of other figures on there you can see. Going to do some painting, going to do some glowing orbs. You can see, yeah, it's basically two sprues. A big sprue and then a smaller one, and yeah, that's it. And then they use it in playing Warhammer. And here it says push fit. It's kind of like long distance shooting and sniping, but apparently from what I've seen online is it's not really a good thing. The kit is a Doomstalker push fit construction, means you don't need any glue. So I've been gluing some of my guys together, and some of them have needed glue. Supplied in 14 plastic components and comes with a 90 millimeter round base. So that is what we're going to be doing, is we're going to be taking that guy on, and we're going to see if we can put him together. Like I said, I'm not feeling 100%. I ended up getting a vaccine for pneumonia and a vaccine for shingles. And boy, that knocked my crank in the dirt. Holy crow. It just, both my wife and I got it, and it was quite, it's like we got flu big time. It knocked us out. We got it Friday in the morning. By the time we got home, we were feeling bad. And it was like, yeah, this isn't going to be good. Saturday, oh man, it knocked us both out. Fevers, chills, too hot, too cold, shivers, yeah, just basically all the signs of a real bad flu. And boom, it continued throughout the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Matter of fact, there's multiple times when I sweat out my clothes and in the bed sheets and all that stuff. So I think I'm about 90%. We went and actually got an IV for immunity boosting and energy and vitamin D and some amino acids and whatever else. In Korea, IVs are a thing. So we ended up getting that to help boost us past this uncomfortable flu-like symptoms from those 2 vaccines. And being that I'm going to be 60 this year, it was highly recommended. So the good thing is that the pneumonia vaccine, there's just 1. Shingles vaccine, there's 2. So we had one of those, and somewhere within the next 6 months, we have to get the second shingles vaccine. But good Lord, I'm not looking forward to that. But the good thing is I've had, well, it wasn't good. I've had people in my family who had shingles, and yeah, I would rather go through this than have to go through the shingles thing that they went through. That was horrible. So yeah, it was like, normally I don't do vaccines. I'm not a vaccine type of person. It's just a personal preference. I'm not one of those crazies and say, oh, nobody should get vaccines. But for me, like the flu vaccines, every year I was in the military, I get a flu vaccine, I would be sick, guaranteed 3 or 4 times a year. Bad. Sometimes it was only 3. I can't remember not being sick less than 3 times a year while I was in the military, getting flu vaccines. And then in 2002, I stopped getting the flu vaccines because I just kind of pencil whipped some stuff in there, and had some friends help me out in the military. So I didn't have flu vaccines from 2002 to 2005. So it was 3 years. And those 3 years with no flu vaccines, I had never been healthier. So I just kind of continued on. I never got flu vaccines after that. But I do believe in vaccines like mumps, measles, rubella, the basic stuff, those work. That's all I'm going to say. So anyway, we're going to continue on. So we're going to jump over to the desk over there, and we're just going to, boom, that'll go through some scenes, and we can take a look at what we're doing. And we'll kind of go over, I need to start my tablet here so we can get the, if we get any comments, then I can, yep, there we are. Okay, hey, that is good. So, you can see we've got the majority of these put together, and we're going to be doing some cool stuff eventually when we paint these guys up. Get over there. And so, for example, we have this is the Lord of the Manor, and he's going to turn out pretty good, I think. Let's see, can we get a little bit more light on him? I think we can. So he turned out really good. I haven't put him permanently on the bases because I want to do something else with the bases. And yeah. So we've got this Lord, and then we've got 2 different types of, I guess, foot soldiers. And so we've got these 2 guys here. So you got one with kind of like a rifle with an axe on it, and another guy with a double barrel rifle or whatever. And so those are all put together, so those are kind of cool looking. And then there's like 10 of those, 5 of each. And then we got the little scarabs, which I'm not sure what they do. If we can zoom in. The little buggies. So we kind of do that. Again, I'm going to redo the bases, make them look cooler. And then we ended up getting these guys. Holy crow, these guys are amazing looking. And that's just kind of crazy. He's got that 3rd leg going on there. So he had him, and then there was the 2nd of him, his buddy. You can see this is going to be an interesting little character that we can see there. So we got him, and then on the previous video, you actually saw where we had to do major surgery on this guy here. This guy, because I put the legs on backwards, and so I had to cut his legs off, the 2 on the left and the right, and then you can kind of see, and then I had to cut his torso in the middle You can see some of the glue in there. But once I get this primed, I don't think anybody's going to be able to, okay, focus. I don't think anybody's going to be able to notice. But these are some cool looking little characters here that we got going. And then, so we had 3 of those, and then this thing, I'm not sure what that thing is. Let's see if we can get this thing to focus. But that's kind of a cool thing, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I'm new to Warhammer. I have no idea. Best case scenario, I'll play Warhammer, I'll love it, I'll have some cool characters. Worst case scenario, I'll paint them up and they'll look good on the shelf, and that'll be it. So we did that. We're still doing our big guy here. This is our 3D printed one on our K2 Plus, and we're going to be doing some continuation and painting this. And I think he turned out pretty good so far. So we're going to continue on and do him. I need to do something with the staff, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll do that like a gold or a silver. I'm not sure. But that'll come with a different one, and then that's going to be his base. So with the white is going to be the green glow, and on some of these smaller ones, they have like the orbs that are also going to glow in green, and that'll be interesting because these guys are super, super tiny. So it has some orbs on here that, you know, will do some glow and stuff like that. And I got a special thing that I want to do for his like hammer or whatever the hell that is. Have some electricity bolts that are going to be doing that. And then as another little thing, what we ended up doing is 3D printed this and just did some dry brushing over the black PLA, and then we added some of the green so we could try to work on some of the glowing effects. And yeah, turned out not bad. So this will go on the shelf, and then that'll sit. It'll be the backdrop of the Necrons as it sits on the shelf. So either way, I got some cool stuff. The next thing is going to be this guy, the big guy. So this is going to be the Doomstalker, which is going to be the last guy. It won't be the last guy because I'll try to learn how to play him, how to play this. And yeah, that's quite the interesting. It's a cool looking model, that's for sure. So I'll have a fun time painting, but as far as like playing the game, I don't know if I'm going to like playing the game or not. There's a lot of rules. And I'm a little old. So with that, let's get to some comments. I have to lurk tonight. Watch on my TV. My phone is almost dead. Oh, okay. And he says Lieutenant Dan. And Lieutenant Dan is the one that we had to cut up because I made mistakes. That was this guy here. So we're going to do something to identify this guy as Lieutenant Dan. I don't know if we'll put something on him to identify him as being Lieutenant Dan because he lost his legs. We had to do major surgery and then put him back together like the $6 million man. And it's not too noticeable, thankfully. And for the price that you pay for this kit, it puckered me up a little bit. So that was quite the thing. And these are small and they're dainty. So yeah, it is what it is. And then transporting these after I get them painted, that'll be fun and all that stuff. Okay, we have the directions here. And we'll use a little scarab as our placeholder on which one we're doing. So we're going to do a D7. D7A. So is this A? There's 8. So I need a D8, D7, so 6, 7, and 8. Okay. So do the D8. And we're just using our side cutters here. And he's got some guns. And I've been reading more and more on some of the capabilities of these guys, which doesn't really mean a lot to me because I don't know how to play the game yet. And it's just amazing that tons of people play this stuff like it's second nature. It's just kind of amazing to me. So we need a D6 and D7. And we don't have that stuff on here, so we can set that aside. That means it's got to be here. D7 and D6. Kind of like shapes and colors, shapes and colors. Okay, there's D7 right there. So it is quite the interesting hobby. Okay, so we got that. We're going to have that, and we need D6, which is this one right here. And the thing is, when I get into something, if I get into it, I'll go deep into it. I'll go all the way into it. But if I don't like it, yeah, I won't do it. So we'll see how this goes. And supposedly we don't need glue for this, so that is kind of good. And I'm wondering, because I did glue on a number of these, and I thought you were supposed to glue them all, but maybe I'm mistaken. I'm just kind of the old school model guy where nothing was like just fit together. You had to glue everything together. So we'll see. That's something I need to ask the guys at the hobby store and see what they end up saying. And yeah. And when I was putting some of these together at the game store Thursday night, the guy was like, "You're like sanding and cutting off." I was using a razor blade to get rid of the layer lines or the model lines, and they're like, "You're cutting those off?" It's like, "Man, you're better than me." I'm like, "Yeah, but you paint better than me, and you know how to play the game, so." There's a lot of cool people, which is really, really nice. Oh, there's a little piece that we need to. So yeah, this will be an interesting. Now it says we don't need. We don't need glue, and that fits there. So we kind of got that. One thing I will say, you definitely need to pay attention to the pictures. Definitely need to Okay, 19A, 19B, 19C. I don't know why you can't just put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you know. I think whatever. That's how simple I am. It has to be simple. So now we're looking at D4 and D5. And it's these two big things here. Let's see, some interesting stuff being retired here in Korea. Especially with the stuff that's going on in Iran. Of course, gas prices are going up. So that is what that is. Eventually it should go back down. Eventually, that would be a nice thing. So gas prices are up. Let's see, I don't want to do this, D5. Kind of set this out the way it does in the diagram. But yeah, we've got that going on. So that's quite the interesting thing. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting. But with all that, the exchange rate jumped up to almost 1,500 won. It was like 1495 or 96 or something, 98. And yeah, so close to 1,500. So we went and got some money, some US dollars out of our bank, and then we went and exchanged it off post because you get a better exchange rate at a money exchange place off post. So yeah, we're able to get that, and we're probably going to exchange some more money tomorrow because that is a really good exchange rate. So looking forward to that because we'll be able to make some money on that deal. Because getting paid in dollars and being able to exchange that into Korean won gives us extra purchasing power, which is nice. So yeah, we'll be making a little bit of money off of that. So if you're thinking about exchanging, it's good. There's still talks on how there's a possibility of the exchange rate going up to 1,600, which would be, never seen that before. But that would be insane. But it's rare that it goes up to 1,500, or at least as high as it did today. So we took advantage of that. We'll take advantage of it again tomorrow. And apparently a number of other people were doing it because the bank was like, yeah, they had to lower the withdrawal limit. So they said, hopefully it'll be back. They'll have enough money tomorrow. And that'll be good. So we'll be able to exchange a little bit more. So that exchange rate is good for us. It's bad for the Korean people. So it's kind of like a two-edged sword. Bad for the wife's family, but it's good for us. But we'll exchange money now. And then so basically it's gonna, if I had to put like a guesstimate figure, probably about 15-20%. We'll make a little bit extra. So that'll help. And whenever the won or the US dollar to won rate is really good for us, we'll exchange money and we just hold on to it, and yeah, it works that way. Okay, so now it says that we put this thing together. Giant massive plasma cannon deal thing. And it is good to know that we don't have to use any glue on this, but it's just so odd to me that that is the situation. So yeah, we have that. We have this, and we need D9. D9. D9 these nuts. Just kidding. And this is D9. But yeah, the exchange rate is crazy right now. So apparently a bunch of other people had the same idea to exchange US dollars for won. And yeah. But then when the won goes back down the other way, you know, we'll lose out on a little bit of money. But that won't be too bad. It'll kind of it'll work out for our benefit in the end. Again, it's just kind of like dollar cost averaging. When the won goes up, that's when you exchange and just hold on to it. Okay. So we got that. And now we've got to take this and that. On the other side. Oh, and I'm going to be ordering the camera that you're watching through now. I'm going to order another one of those to have a top-down view. So we will be getting some better shots. Okay. Hey. Cool. See that? Cool little guy that we got there. And now it says we need a D12 and D13. So here's 12, here's 13. Wasn't D12, wasn't that the name of like Eminem's group back in the day? It was D12, I think. I'm not sure if it was or not. So D12. Now I have an interesting question. Because a lot of this stuff comes from China, supposedly. A lot of stuff comes from China. I'm wondering if we go to China, can we find cheaper Warhammer models? That is a good question. Because eventually I want to go to China and vacation and check some stuff out. I think that'd be kind of cool. would be kind of a neat thing. There's some stuff I want to see in China. And if in China I can get some cheaper Warhammer stuff, that would be a bonus. Okay. So let's see. When putting this stuff together, attention to detail is paramount. So, we skipped a step. We should be down here. Okay, D10 and 11. See, I told you I wasn't 100% yet. There's D11 and D10. Right? Yeah. So I told you I wasn't 100% yet. Which makes me a little nervous. Especially with the cost of this thing. That's just an odd angle on which this is. Seriously. Gotta love the live stream. How are gas prices in the United States or wherever you all are from? Here in Korea, or at least on the military base, it went up to $3.59 a gallon, so it went up quick. Yeah, quite the increase. So, depending on how long that military incursion goes, and I filled up the gas tank just before the prices went up because I knew that's what was going to happen. And you could see, you know who all the old vets were, because a lot of old service members and retirees that are here were gassing up their cars, and you're just kind of looking at each other and nodding, and it's like, yep, I know I need to fill up my tank before prices go up. So, yeah. So that was definitely a thing. But, yeah, gas prices shot up. And as far as in the Korean economy, they capped the gas prices. So, but it's still going up as well. But they're doing some stuff to lessen the pain at the pump. So that'll be an interesting little thing. Let's see. Okay, so now on there, we've got this. And I think that's that side. I think that's D10. I think this is D11. Is going to go in those holes. filling a lot of holes today. Okay. So we got that together. And this one will go there. Ooh. Oh, okay, so it wasn't all the way in. You got to put it all the way in. I mean, you can just put a little bit in, but you got to put it all the way in, because otherwise it's not going to work. So yeah. So now we can go to this one here with the D13, D12. And these are going to go on those. Are we sure? Those don't seem like they're press fitting into there. Yeah. I mean, those are press fitting in there, but honestly, I don't think I'd trust that. Because it's not, they're not, this one's not staying in there. So I think I'm going to have to put some glue on there, because that is just not giving me a warm fuzzy. Let me see if I can. See how kind of. I want to make sure it's the right size, or the right side, the correct side. And that is indeed the correct side. But yeah, it's like the hole isn't big enough. You ever have that problem? The hole's not deep enough for these pegs. And the peg itself, the male part is not long enough, and the hole isn't, it's too big. So we got to put some glue on here. I don't know. You saw it on the web page. It said just press fit. And here we are. It's not press fitting. So and we'll do a little spritz. A little bit of activator there. And then we'll do the same thing on this one. This one stays in a little bit better, but it's still going to need glue. Just a tiny bit more. And now I'll just put a little spritz. bit of activator, and we are good to go. So that is quite the involved piece that we have there. Very cool looking. It'll be interesting to see. Some people online were telling me that this model is really cool looking, which I think it is. But a lot of people were also saying that this model is very temperamental, I guess you could say, in the gameplay. So it's kind of like lacking when it comes to play and stuff like that. So, okay, so let's set that over there. And now we're on the legs, the daddy long legs. So we're going to need D3, which is this one here, D1, D14, which is that, and then D2, which is this here. So yeah. So we're getting closer. Closer. In some ways, I hope I like playing. But it's got a lot of rules. And it's like, Okay, so put that there. Try to mimic everything that we see. D1. We'll get this going. Hey, we got Swedish Forge here. He's in the house. Good to see you. That's the big one there. And that goes there. Okay. This other one is D2. It's going to be this guy here. I was watching some of the guys at the game store play, and I'm just like, holy crow. I was pretty amazed with how much information that they knew and what you have to know to play the game. And even then, there was guys there that had played the game for a while, and you know, they're like, hey, I just realized that I could have been playing some stratagem or way of playing or whatever that they didn't know that they could be doing, and it had been a long time. It had been a while. It had been a minute. And that's how involved the game is. It's just pretty intense. That there's rules out there that you might not even know. But it just takes time, apparently. Okay. So I think we can put this guy into that hole. We got this small piece, and we'll put that in there. Hopefully we won't need glue. I'm not too sure about that. I'm going to put a little drip of glue on there. Better to be safe than sorry. Just do a little spritz. And we are good. So we do that. And so we have this. These are supposed to marry up. Well, let me do some sanding first. Oh, that's someplace that we forgot to go today. We were going to go to Daiso, and I was get to see if they have any other emery boards that are greater than 180. A little bit finer. I think will be okay. I think we're good on that. And of course, we're also going to prime these up. And that'll make quick work of. We'll do a black for the primer. And I think we're good. Okay, so we shall assemble this D3, which is exactly, that should go there, and that should go in there. And yeah, that press fits in there, but it's loose. So again, I think I'm going to do some gluing on this. Ooh, we forgot to. So I want these to last for the long haul. Yeah, that's really weak. That is weak. Let's. Okay. Yep. We're going to add more glue. Don't need glue, but I'm telling you, you need glue. I'm just saying, you're going to need some glue. Gonna need some glue. Maybe that's a little bit too much. Okay, now we'll do the other side. A little dab will do ya. Ooh, that's a lot. There's more than a little dab. bit of cleanup on aisle 4. But I think we should be good. There's a tiny little bit there. And we'll do a little spritz. And we will be good. That CA activator is awesome. And AG Adhesive Guru activator. Of course, I'm using Gorilla Glue with this. I've got the regular glue that you use, but this activator works with Gorilla Glue as well. Okay, so there's nothing left on this sprue. There's nothing left on that, so as we see, put that on that, and we should be good to go. So let's get this like so. Oh, it's got a sprue in the middle. We forgot the little sprue in the middle there. I guess we can take that out. Again, attention to details. It's like, wait a second, something doesn't look right. If I was doing this yesterday, I wouldn't have caught that. I wouldn't have caught that. Okay, so this is going to go on this like that, and we're not going to glue it down to the base. Yeah, you're going to have to glue that down to the base. There's no way you would. For them saying it's going to press fit and you don't need glue, they're lying to you. There's that, and then this guy, and that straddles, I think it's supposed to be straddling his leg, like that. That's what it looks like, but and that one it's not. So I would say, I would put it so it could rotate a little bit. So that way you could have it rotate a little bit. It's a shame they didn't build it up so you could rotate it 360. I think that was a missed opportunity there. That would be something if you'd put like a collar on there. You know what, I could build a 3D little spacer on there so it builds that up so it would just be able to rotate and it would have like a thick collar around that. Because in my opinion, you should be able to rotate 360 degrees because as it is right now, you're stuck. And I don't think that's cool. Man, that paint job is going to be insane. Okay, so there it is. Well, think about doing that little spacer there. Matter of fact, we can do is we will get our calipers. And pinnage. Because, yeah, you just go like that to that, but I want it to go all the way around. I mean, if I'm going to display this thing, I want to display it so it'll look cool in every direction that I point it. Okay, so now the question is, how much do we have to go up? In millimeters. So that way, you can kind of get, so it clears the legs. Now maybe I should set this down, like so. I'm going to say 12.5. So we have our little bottom part here. And then that goes down to the legs. And then, so from the bottom, from there up to there, 0.5 millimeters. Ignore my chicken scratch. And just do a very rudimentary and for this we're going to need we'll do 7.3. 7.4 millimeters, and then the hole is we're going to want 3.04, but let's see what this is. So that's 3 is the pin, and the hole .05, 3.0, seriously. .04. Let's do 3.04. 0.04 for the hole. And then we're going to need the pin to go up into here. And that's going to have to go up on this, which would be approximately 6. So the pin is going to go up. That would be 6 millimeters. Okay, I think we got what we need. What we can do is we can go on the computer and hit Tinkercad up, and because basically, because we want that, 3.04, 12.5. As far as that, and 7.4, and I think that's what we need. And hopefully that'll give us our spacer so that we can swing our guy around 360 degrees. I think that's what we need. Okay. Let's go, and we'll check it out. There's just no way to pick that guy up. But he looks cool. He looks cool. I think that works out. Okay, let's get our directions and we'll head over to the desk. Let's see if we can knock out some Tinkercad stuff and then 3D print it out, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Where do we need to go to? We need to go to here. So we're back. And we need to go to Tinkercad. And we will go on to Tinkercad. Let's hit some comments. We haven't got any comments lately. Okay, we just had George say Lieutenant Dan for our Necron guy that we cut apart and put back together. Swedish Forge came in, did his hand-waving thing. So now we've got Tinkercad. So Tinkercad, we're going to create a 3D design. And let's jump into this. So we can bring that in. And what we want to do is we want to increase the size so it's really, really good. Segments, I don't know what that does, but it's, I don't know. We'll max it out and see what happens. So we want 7.4, and that one is going to be 7.4. So we've got that. The height is going to be 12.5. So that is going to be our height there. And then we need to do another one, which is 6. So let's make another one. We'll put it on top of here. We'll max all that stuff out. And I'm not sure what the diameter is. We'll have to go back and check. I forgot to measure that. So the little post. The post, and what that is 3. Okay. So that guy is going to be 3. So that 3, and that is going to be 6. We'll make that 6.01, because what we want to end up doing is countersinking that down, or 6.1. So that way when we put it on here, we can drop that down 1, and that is on there, so we're good to go. So we want to line both of these up. So we'll just left click and drag, and then we'll hit up here, do the align tool. We'll click on the big circle, center and center, and there that is. But we also need to do the other side. So let's make another one of these. Let's copy this, because we're going to need to make a hole for the other one. And so we'll select this and this. Let's just double check and make sure everything is lined, which is grayed out, so it is, so we're good there. And we'll just union join all those together. And we'll make that a red color. And that is that part there. The hole that we need was 3.04. So we'll put 3.04, 3.04, and that should give us our hole. The other thing I forgot to mention or measure was how high that post is that pops up off of the base. So that piece right there where that little post comes in and that pops up, we need to find out how tall that is, and then measure that and add another little tiny bit on top of that, which if we just go we make it 7, we should be good to go. So let's try making that at 7. Okay. So the height on this will be 7. And, you know, we've got a lot of room in there, so let's just go ahead and we'll just make it 8.5 just for grins. And this is going to be our hole. And it's 3.04. Let's make it 3.05. Just in case, 3.05. And now, you know what we can do to make this a little bit easier. I don't know about easier, but we'll just do that. We'll take this work plane area. We'll click on that. We'll make the top of this our work plane. We'll click that, we'll hit the letter D for drop to the work plane. And there's our work plane. And what we can do is select both of these. We'll do our alignment tool. And that is aligned. And now we need to go back to our regular scheduled work plane. And so now we can take this, and we could just drop this down like so. But the other thing we need to do is go over here where it shows this change to a hole, like so. And see how like that it would be, it's like flush. And so I just want it just one click, 0.1 millimeter just above that. And then what we can end up doing is we just select both of those. We'll hit group. And there's our part. So yeah, we can rotate that around. But I don't want to have just this because that would be a little boring. That would look like a collar. We want a little bit of detail on there to have like maybe some rings or something around it to kind of break up the monotony of that. And so we got a couple of things that we could end up doing. We could bring in something like this. And with this tube thing, And we could end up just doing shift to where we could draw this out. And let's try to center that. And we can kind of see that there, but what I want is a little bit bigger. Let's say that. And you know what we could do a bevel on this as well. Oh yeah, that looks good. And that bevel action will actually help us in regards to, yeah. So when we print this thing out, if we put a bevel on it, it'll minimize the amount of supports that we need than having a straight 90-degree overhang. So maybe this will help us out a little bit. So let's drag this out a little bit. And we will do this. Again, we'll do the whole. And is that what we want? So we take that. And is that going to give us enough of a bevel on there? I don't know. Let's try. I don't know. I think that's about the best bevel we're going to get. So we can do something like that. And let's take this, drop that down to the deck. And we'll take this and we'll go 1, 2, and then we'll copy, and then we'll go up 1, 2, 3, and then we'll hit copy again. And we'll do that. We'll select all of these and we'll group these together. And then what we could end up doing is we just kind of move that like that. And I think that would look a lot better. The other thing we could also do to make this look a little bit more interesting, besides just having, we could put a spine on this. So we could go, let's go ahead and we'll take a square. We'll make it green. And we will adjust our square into a shape. So that way we can put a spine on our side there. Go down to adjustments, 0.1, we'll zoom in, we'll bring this up. That should be flush. And if we do our steps to 10, we'll do a little bit of a radius. So that way we've got a little bit of a curve there. So that'll look good. And we could do one, we could do 4 of them. He's got 3 legs. So should we do 3 or should we do 1? If we do 3 and then it rotates, let us take a look. Oh, it's got 4. Okay. So you can see there, it's got 4. So let's go ahead and we'll do 4. And the way that we can do this, first thing we'll end up doing, we'll just click off of this and we'll make sure we get the red and the orange selected. We'll union group, so that's all one color. And now, and we could even, we could really go to town with this. Let's try this. So we'll bring that onto the work plane there. And we'll move this over here. And we could do a little bit of a little bit of a different type of thing here. So we can put some little cutouts there. And we're just going to try to eye this as best we can. We'll just eyeball it. And then what we could do, we can move it like that. So it cuts in a little bit and then kind of goes out and gives a little bit of a shape. We'll copy that and then we'll move this one up so that it's kind of in the middle. Which I think that looks good enough. And if that works out, we hit copy again and we can have those three like so. And I think, let's see, what does that look like? That looks good. That looks good. I think those look good. So now we'll hold shift. We'll select the other hole and the other hole. We'll group all those together. And then we'll select the green. And we'll hit union group. And it will cut out those things there. And there's our cool looking part. But now we want, let's make sure that this is lined up. So we select that, and we'll make sure that we're there. Oops, no. Let me double check. Yep, okay, so that's what we want. So now, the way that we can do this is to put these on the four corners. We'll select this one, we'll copy, we'll hit that button up there, and we'll do that. And then we can rotate this around and come out the other side. And then we can see it looks about the same, I think. He thinks. Does that look good? I think it does. I think that's about good. So now, that looks pretty good. I'm liking that. So let's grab this green one, select that one, click that, or shift, and select both of those. We'll group those together. And then we can copy that, and now we can rotate this around 90 degrees, and boom, look at that. Look at that wonderful goodness. Oh, we forgot our hole. Interesting. I forgot all about that. Well, let's group these together. We'll group the greens together, so those are good. I forgot all about that hole. So let's go back here. We'll ungroup. And we'll have to click off. We'll click this again. We'll ungroup that. And there's our hole. And we can take our hole. Let's just move that out of the way. And then we can select all of this stuff. We'll group that together like that. We will grab our hole, we'll select that, we'll align like that and like that, and select it all. We'll do the group, and there is our hole. So there is our part. So that will look a lot better than just having a regular collar on there, just a spacer. That'll look infinitely better than just having something that's like basically kind of like that with a little thing sticking out the top and a hole in the bottom. So yeah. The one on the left definitely looks better. So that's what we'll end up doing there. So now we can take this and we can export. We'll do it as an STL. And we'll take that out and go to, and there it goes. And what we'll end up doing is we'll throw that onto the 3D printer, and boom, we will hook that up. Let's see if we can start the 3D printer. And let's see if we can do that. So let's get back to the desktop. So here we are. And and we'll go to our downloads, because there's our shiny lappy. I'll drag that in here. And there's our part. And so what we can end up doing is we'll check what we want to do, 0.2 layer height. We want that. We'll just keep it at 15%. We'll do it gyroid. And this object, we want this to be 5, which is going to be our Panachrome on our external. And let's see, wall loops 2. Let's make it 3. Just want to beef it up. Just beef it up. Probably don't need 15% infill. Let's just put it at 10. Oops. 10 gyroid. Outer wall. Slow down for neural curled perimeters. I set this to 60 because somebody told me to, and I've done it ever since. Are we going to need supports? We will try that. We'll do some tree auto on build plate only. And we don't need a prime tower. And we are going to need an outer brim only. And what we'll end up doing is we'll clone this. We'll make 2 of these. Or let's just do 1. We'll do that. And we'll slice this plate up. Slice. And it'll be 1.9 grams, 8 minutes and 19 seconds. And it'll cost me 4 cents. So we can print out a couple of those. Doesn't look like we need supports, which is what I was hoping for with the bevel that we have on there. We've got enough of a bevel on there that we won't need supports. Maybe we'll need supports there. But if we change something, I forgot about that. We're going to have that overhang there. Let me try one more thing. We will do 1. Let's get rid of 1. So the one on the left will be this one, and then we'll go back to Tinkercad. And because that's how we have that inside there. So notice it's straight across. If I was thinking about this, I would have taken this and I could end up taking a ball, the whole ball. It's the whole ball. And we can bring that like that. Oops. Seriously. And what we could end up doing here is we could line these 2 up. And what we could end up doing is we could drop this down. That's going to be a little bit too much. So since that is what, 3.05, we can make this 3.05. This one 3.05. Then we will line these up again. So those are lined, and now we could end up doing is bringing this like that. And we could even do something like this. And so what that will give us is if we use this for our hole, we'll combine these two things together. Oh, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. Sorry about that. Basically, what I ended up doing is just creating, I added on a circle to this. So I just got a circle hole over here and added the circle and with the same diameter and brought that down to there. So that way we have that curved edge. We have like a domed inside. And if we do both of these and we group these together, and then we'll select that one, we'll select that, we'll do our little centering thing, and then we select all of that, we'll group, and group. And now we can see on the inside, it's kind of hard to see that, but we've got that rounded edge there. And if we go ahead and hit the T key for transparent, we can see we have that domed inside hole. So, which should be good enough that we won't need any supports. So now we can take this and we'll just we'll call this a different name. Doomstalker spacer. And now we'll export this, do it as an STL. And that goes up into our thing, and we will go back to our Creality print. So we got that guy there. We'll get our downloads and our Doomstalker spacer that we just made with the dome on it will be the one on the right. And we need to make some adjustments there because that's going to be that. And let's just double check. 0.2, 15. Oh, okay. Let's go to global. You have global and you have objects. So if you select an object on here, you can do different settings and variables for that object, but we want to do global. So we're going to do 3 while loops. Infill is going to be 10. I think that'll be good enough. Gyroid, which is good. That, again, we need to adjust that to 60. This supports tree auto on build plate only, which I don't think we'll need. We definitely don't need a prime tower. We do want a brim, outer brim only. And if we slice this up, now we have the one there that will have that, the one that we just made, and we can see that it's got the little bit of a dome action on there. So we can see how that comes up and it's got the dome. Whereas this one over here, if we can zoom in a little bit, it just goes right into clearing that out. So we'll see how that works out. So the one on the left is the regular one. The one on the right is going to be the one that has the little dome, and we'll see how this goes. So let me run, and I'll be back real quick. I want to make sure that I got the build plate on there, which we do. And we have filament. We're ready to go. So what we can end up doing, I look a little saturated. Turn my saturation down a little bit. Maybe turn my temperature down. There we go. I look a little bit better now. Let's go back to our desktop. And there is We did that. That's going to be 8 minutes and 12 seconds. So I think we can BS and do some stuff. We don't want to do calibration. We're going to be using our side spool holder with our Polymaker PLA, and we're going to start print. Boom. Yes, it is moving. It's alive. It is alive. So yeah, hopefully we can end up having a cool little, will make me bigger. My wife says I don't need to be bigger, but we'll make that spacer so that way the head of our Doomstalker can rotate 360 degrees without those cables hitting the legs. I don't know if that makes a difference in the game, but in my mind, if you're going to make something that has a gun on it that is supposed to rotate 360 degrees, bink, that's the movement you have. That's all you've got right there. So yeah, we're going to take this up with that spacer, and so we can rotate 360 degrees around. So we'll see how that works out. Quick little detail, hopefully that we can fix. And we'll just kind of watch we will watch this as it gets going, because it's only going to be about like 8 minutes. So we'll see how that goes. Keep the fingers crossed. So, our Doomstalker. Dun dun. It looks cool, but from what I've been reading, is in gameplay, it doesn't really, a lot of people don't like it. And I don't know, like I said, I'm new to Warhammer, so I don't know if that's because I don't know how to play the game, or that the people are saying that it's not a good unit because they don't know how to play the game well. I mean, you know, that could be said of anything, you know. Oh, that's terrible. Well, if you don't know how to use it right, then it might be terrible. So I guess that's what I'm getting at. We will see. We will see. That'll be really interesting. So now I got to figure out, I got to watch some videos and figure out data cards to figure out the capabilities, and I think I know a little bit about the data cards. Not much, but the data cards, and I got the Necron book. Welcome to Story Hour. Grandpa's going to tell you a story about Necrons. Yeah. I would be an interesting grandfather. You may happen to have the Combat Patrol. Which it gives us pictures. Pictures and words. I like pictures. I like pictures. So, Canoptech Scarabs, there's 3 of those. 10 Necron warriors, 1 Overlord Monhotech, and then Scorpec Destroyers, there's 3 of those, and then we have our Doomstalker. Synoptek? Is that C-A-N-O-P-T-E-K? Synoptek. And it has a Doomsday Blaster, 2 Twin Gauze Flares, Doomstalker limbs. Says it's very potent fire base, able to take on enemy vehicles as well as elite infantry. The heavy weapon ability on the primary armament can also make it a far more reliable shot if you position it well in advance, but be careful not to position your Doomstalker too aggressively, as its weapon's blast ability means it cannot target units within engagement range of it. It is wise to use other units to protect it, be it the Necron Warriors or Scarab Swarms, to keep your Doomstalker out of combat. So it's kind of like a, I don't know, sort of like an artillery piece, seems like. We'll see. But the cool thing is that in the book it gives you like how to paint your units and everything. That'll come in handy, which is nice. That's a nice touch. I like that. And then talks about reanimating and whatever. Oh, and then it has the data card. So on the data cards it has, and on the top it has an M, T, SV, W, LD, and OC. M is for movement, T is for toughness, SV is for saving roll, W is for wounds, LD, I have no idea what LD is, and OC, I don't know what OC is. But it's kind of like a little data card, and it tells you invulnerable, save. I have no idea what all that means. So, yeah, let's take a look at the Doomstalker. Doomstalker has a movement of 8 inches. You'd think with those super long legs it would be able to go farther. Toughness of 8, saving roll 3+, invulnerable save of 4+, wounds 12, which must be good. Yeah, it's got a lot of wounds. LD, I don't know what that is, and OC is 4. So 8+ and 4. So we'll figure out what all that stuff means, but yeah, I've got some reading to do. I've definitely got some reading to do. Let's see, what do we got over here? Can we make this bigger? I think we can a little bit. So it looks like we're doing pretty good on our guy. We got about 4 minutes left, which is nice. So we're pretty close on that. This is the cool thing about a 3D printer. I mean, find something that you not need to, but want to do, and then be able to knock it out. I mean, whereas before, to do something like this, you would have to whittle it out of wood or chisel it out of stone, something like that. Or you go to Ace Hardware or Home Depot, Lowe's, try to find a spacer, maybe use washers and add a bunch of those or whatever and glue it all together. It would look pretty funky. But this could work. This could work. So we're going to find out if it'll work. I'm kind of excited on this to see if the measurements. Keep your fingers crossed. Oh no! One of them got knocked off. Oh, that bastard. We need to exclude that. Exclude. No. Oh no. How do we do the exclude? No. No. Oh, seriously? Really? Ah, you bastard. They changed the screen. Filament. Guide access temp. File. That. General. Seriously, you used to be able to click on the... we're going to get some kind of crazy... this is going to get all funky. Seriously. Maybe that's exclude objects. There it is. Exclude. Okay. There it is. So I found it. This might be salvageable. It's going to look a little hairy. We're almost done though. So this could work. And we're done. Okay. Let's see if this is salvageable. Yeah, a new thing on the display screen. They changed the excluding thing, I guess. And it wasn't like it was last time. Okay. So there is our thing. Okay, we got some wild hairs. See if we can just pinch these off. Pinch off. I think we're going to need a little bit of a razor blade. Okay. See, you always do two. The old army saying one is none, two is one. So now, you know what we'll do? I'll take this over to the desk to the thing so we can get a better look on this because this has got a better camera. So there is our piece. Turned out pretty good. Our hole came out good. We can see there. So now, the moment of truth. Oh no, it's not enough. We need to make that hole bigger. It is so close. Seriously? Seriously? Oh, it's so close. So we need to make that hole bigger, but does that fit in that hole? Yes, it does. So there it fits there. We just need a bigger hole there. And then that should, if we see like that, that'll give us the distance that we need. And I could drill this out a little bit. You know what? I've got a drill. Let me go get the drill. Get some bits. see if we can get this to work. We're going to do old school drill. And yeah, I wanted this to be snug, but it's too snug. It's like, it is so close. It wants to. But if I force it, something will break. So, since this is PLA, and we'll see if this is just, oh, there it is. Boom. We are good. But it needs just a little bit more. Don't try this at home, kids. Just a tiny bit more. And there we go. Boom, boom, boom. We're so close, so close. So now, there is our piece. You know what would be nice if I countersunk that a little bit. I didn't think about that. There's a tiny little, maybe I can fix that. That. We can just do a little bit of, see that, a little bit of a countersink on there. Hey, look at that. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? So now, that was a lot easier than I thought. I wish I made that hole just a little bit. And so now, when we get our dude, get him on the base. That. So now he rotates 360 degrees. And I think that looks a lot better. So since the top is a little tight, that's going to give us a little bit of friction. And the bottom is kind of, that just spins too much. Let's go ahead and we'll just glue this on here. And we'll line up. Oh, that came out great. And we can glue this a little bit. Do I want to glue this? Do I want to glue this? I think I want to glue this. Good. And our 4 ribs came out perfect. And we can go ahead and let that dry, and then we can put that on there. And now you rotate. You move him around, and he can rotate 360 degrees. And it doesn't look like it's crazy out of touch. We could paint that up. And the other thing I could end up doing is I could have like a back plate or something, or a piece that goes down, kind of like a little armor piece, but I think that works. So that way he's able to rotate 360 degrees. Yes, we did it. We did it. Turned out good. So yeah, boom, booyah. So there it is, folks. We did it. We did it. Close that. Just discard all that. We'll get on board. And we're done. Yeah, that was cool. That worked out great. So we're able to finally get together all of our guys. So as you can see there, and we'll kind of zoom in a little bit, what we ended up doing is getting all of the guys, including the Doomstalker, with a little bit of an added part. So that way he could spin around 360 degrees by printing out, doing that thing in Tinkercad. Had that little spacer on there that had some stuff, which worked out great, except for the holes, which needed to be a little bit bigger. And if we go back to this, since that hole needed to be bigger, I could select that and 3.1, and we could make that a little bit bigger because I think that would be just enough. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that would be good. So if we select both of those, we do all that, and next thing you know, we've got a hole and we're good to go. And if we, yeah, that would be our spacer. So it's good to go. We go transparent, yeah, worked out good. Worked out good. So if I wanted to print that out again, I have the file, it's saved on my Tinkercad, and we're good to go. So yeah, worked out well. Had to print two to get one. And again, that whole deal of one is none, two is one, that obviously happened. So yeah, we saved by that. Okay, so there it is. We finished putting together our combat team. So the next step that we're going to end up doing, probably won't do it on camera, we'll do the priming of all of those guys. And then we got to find out something to do with the bases, because I don't want to have just a regular base. I want to have something a little bit different. So I'm kind of scouring the interwebs to see what type of bases there are, and maybe we could 3D print that on the K2 Plus. Would say resin print it, but my Saturn III Ultra has died, and we're waiting for the GK3, the Uniformation GK3 to come in, and that's going to be later on. But that's not going to come until later, just before we go to the Philippines. So I don't think I'm going to have a chance to use that before we go to the Philippines. It's supposed to be coming in about the same time that we leave. So yeah, it'll be waiting patiently for us, for me to come back, and maybe we could do some bases. But if I find some cool bases, we can try to print them out on the K2 Plus. We could do it at like a 0.16 layer height. And yeah, that's a possibility as well. Just stick them right on top of the Warhammer bases. That's something that we might do as well. So that is what we've got going on. So we finished up our Combat Patrol Pack with the Necrons, the Doomstalker, the slayers and the infantrymen and whatever else they have, and the Lord Overlord Amonotep, Amon, whatever the dude's name is, they're all put together. Next step is going to be priming, and then after that we're going to start getting into the base color, and then boom, we'll go through the whole thing. And then we also have, as you saw in the picture there, we've got the big Emotep guy right there that we printed out on the K2 Plus, and eventually we'll get back to painting him up and finishing up, and he'll be a good, I mean, he's a tall dude. And yeah, tried that and it worked out great. So anyway, that's what we got going on. If you enjoyed anything, saw something interesting, put a like on the video. I would really appreciate that. If you want to see more of this, make sure you hit the subscribe, ring the bell, and so when other videos come up, you can see what happens with that. Crisis averted today. And on a previous video, we had another crisis averted where we had to cut up one of the destroyers. We had to cut his legs off and split him in half to fix an assembly error. So that, if you can go back and watch that, that was kind of interesting. And the, what is it, the Neo Blade by Hozo was instrumental in getting that guy repaired. So I don't know, the more I have that Neo Blade, that ultrasonic cutter, holy crow, that thing has saved my bacon a number of times already. Matter of fact, what I'll end up doing is, let's go to my channel. Let me get the video link for that, because it was a live video, and Neo Blade, where is it? Why don't we just search for Neo Blade on my page? There it is. So what I'll end up doing is I'll just copy the link for that, so that you can take a look at that. Hozo Neo Blade. Ultrasonic cutter. And no, we're not going to watch the video now. But the link is in the comment section, so you can go check that out. Hozo sent me that to do a review. They didn't have any say in the review. They didn't get to watch the video before I posted it. It is what it is, but it's a little expensive. But you know what? I'm growing fond of it. In the mistakes that I've made, I've grown fond of that. I think I would have lost that one destroyer if I didn't have that Neo Blade. Otherwise, trying to fix what I assembled wrong with just like a regular razor blade and a cutter knife or whatever, there's no way I would be able to do that. That would have ruined the piece. And if I was able, it would have been fugly. But you cannot even tell. Of course, after we put some primer on there, it'll be hard to tell which one that is. And because I had to cut his legs off, he's going to be referred to as Lieutenant Dan. So yeah, little thing that we got going there. Lieutenant Dan, he ain't got no legs, but we gave him legs. You've got legs, Lieutenant Dan. So yeah, that was kind of an interesting one. But yeah, please like the video. Would appreciate that. That would help out the channel a lot. Again, I'm Steve. This is The Varied Life, an American expat retired here in Korea, doing 3D printing and all kinds of stuff. So hopefully you'll continue the journey with me as we kind of do hobby stuff, printing stuff, resin stuff, painting stuff, and whatever else comes along. You can check that out as well. And probably going to get another printer. I'm not sure. That'll be later on this year, but I'm thinking about getting another printer. A lot. Then we can start doing some bigger stuff. So I want to do a big cosplay armor suit. I want to do that. So it's on my bucket list. You know, hey, it is what it is. Okay, if anybody wants to get in contact with me, what you can end up doing is contacting me at the email address officialthevariedlife@gmail.com. I always answer my emails. So whether you want to show me what you're doing, or if you have something that makes me a better person, painter, printer, person, boom, shoot me an email and let me know, or if you just want to say hi. A bunch of people over here bought me coffee. There's a link in the description box for that. You can do that as well. All funds will go back into durable items. So things that will last, like printers or cameras or lights or whatever few nickels I get out of that, along with my allowance, we make the channel better. So, and the other thing we're actually going to be doing is purchasing another camera over there that's got a real good, it's a YOLO Live camera. So we'll do an overhead view. So that way we'll have really good video when we do assembling or painting and things like that. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Again, if you just want to stop by and say hi, email address, hit me up, let me know what you're doing. And with that, I think we will leave you because I got to get some dinner. It's 5:46 right now here in Korea, and it's dinner time, and I'm hungry. I didn't have much to eat today. Trying to get over a cold, vaccination, flu symptom thing, and getting better. I'm about 85% right now. So we're going to get some dinner. We'll let you all go, and we'll see you on the next video. All right? Peace. Good stuff. No major surgeries on this video. All right.